Good morning, friends. Hope you're well. Sid Pinenti here from hybridaibrain.com. Today, I want to show you a second update, I guess. Yesterday, I shot a video on how to create your own estate planning software. Now, as I was perfecting and refining this app, I came across several other ideas, previous technologies that I had been renting out for thousands, ideally actually tens of thousands of dollars every year. And I put together, a spreadsheet of how much I had spent in the last 10 years just on estate planning, estate visualization, portfolio mapping, tax calculation, and probate calculation and strategic alignment tools. And we're talking almost $300,000, okay? $30,000 a year. We're looking at what? Roughly $2,000 a month, $2.5 to $3,000 a month. And I'm a very small practice, and I've had a very small practice and lean practice. Very profitable, but very lean. But I had to use these softwares, right? In order for me to actually even run the practice, manage clients, draft stuff. And so let me go ahead and share my screen here. And if you look at the previous video, number one, you will notice the slight changes that I've added on here. And this is just in the past 24 hours. I haven't visited this since yesterday. I got caught up during the day with other things. And then this morning I had a couple ideas. I'm like, I should just incorporate those tools that I've used and my own version of that, right? A much more advanced version. And so here we are. Now this is, again, the back-end dashboard we're looking at here. So we can go into a particular client matter. We even have, so this is the change. I wanted a visual depiction of what clients' assets look like. Let me actually just pick another profile here. Let me go with this, okay? There's a few more things loaded in here. So you see here we have the revocable trust, okay? Archived, finalized. I can add new documents here. We saw this in the previous one. I can customize the jurisdictions. Okay. And I can edit the entire thing. Matter, archive, progress, review, save. Let's go back to the clients here. I can look at the matters, okay? So specific in progress or completed trusts. And I can go in here. It gives me the actual trust. I can preview what it looks like. I can create checklists around this. Right. Client to finish notary. Signatures. Add item. Right. And so now when I go back here to the client's matter, you can see there's a note here. Received signed engagement letter, proceed with revocable trust. There's the beneficiaries. Okay, we have some assets loaded here. Documents, matters. Okay, and if I go into the documents, these are the ones at a glance. I have uploaded my own templates, things I trust, documents I've used for the past 20 years in offering these exact strategies. These are the core areas I've been practicing. In addition to bankruptcy, restructuring, and a couple others for the past 20 years. And, I've used documents, thousands and thousands of them, that I trust, that are in the marketplace, that have transacted, tens of billions of dollars. And so I've uploaded my own templates because I don't trust uploading a document onto ChatGPT or even Claude, right, as into the thread or even into the Claude code and asking for dissection, refinement, customization of certain terms. You know that inevitably there are going to be terms that get changed in there, even if you give explicit instructions not to change something. That's the risk you run in uploading and using just a thread, generative AI. So that's the use case of generative AI, perhaps even agentic in a way that you can auto draft contracts, etc., right? Or signatures, and it moves things into a different folder, portfolio, whatever it may be. This, what we're talking about, is using AI as infrastructure and architecture, not generative, not necessarily agentic. The agentic functions are happening automatically embedded, kind of like the foundation of a building. You have the wireframe, right? The steel, the concrete, the metal, all the wood. That's the foundation. The wires that are connecting the dots are like the agents operating behind the scenes. When you turn on the light switch, there's obviously automation behind the scenes, right? A spark of electricity is going from the switch to the router board, and then lighting up whatever it is, the light. Or so think of it the same way, right? We're using AI not necessarily as the contents in the building, which is the agentic uses, right? That is what this is. Inside of the building, this is the whole building. Inside of the building, we are putting stuff that we can control. I can trust these contracts because I know there's billions of dollars that have been transacted out of this, right? And I can customize it. I can edit it. I can move it around. I can delete it. Okay, you can see the settings. I can upload. I can add sections, custom blocks. I can make things required. We can even embed a signing where somebody can just scribble on their thumb or on the computer with the mouse, and it automatically loops everything in back into Google Drives and other folders. Okay, so there's a lot of control. Here's the foundation documents. Again, this is my core area of services, what I offer, mainly structuring architecture of entities, figuring out ways that we can unlock funding, reduce risk, enhance asset protection, and obviously loop in the different estate planning attorneys and stuff that I work with generally, right? I don't offer estate planning anymore. So all this I'm showing you here, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm very upfront, very transparent. I have no intention of doing any estate planning documentation. So if you are going to reach out to me and you want to work with us, or you have in the back of your head of, hey, Sid and his team, we're giving all this intellectual property. Listen, I have no intention of doing anything other than private foundations and public nonprofits, and perhaps IP licensing agreements with the tech we build. All the technology that we generally build is structured in a public nonprofit. Okay, a Wyoming-based public nonprofit. Why? Well, go ahead and just view my TED Talk from 2020 at Ocala. Okay, I break down the formula of why creating a tech company, an innovation, education arm, standalone labs, and R&D department, okay, that is separate from your firm, and owning AI or technology inside of that company, how that's beneficial. Number one, you unlock a lifetime of funding and grants and innovation capital that your law firm is not going to qualify for, right? When's the last time Microsoft or Google or OpenAI or Lovable or Manus or any of them have funded your law firm, given you credits, given you free volunteer services, given you access to the technology team and say, hey, go ahead, build whatever you can and we'll partner with you, take it to the market. Those are the things we work on. Every project, this project here, it's, I'm showing you this so openly because it's in my nonprofit. We're doing this to benefit law firms, to benefit customers, to avoid scams, to help people detect scams, right? And for law firms to gain sovereignty and independence. I believe that the large corporations are not the only ones that should have access to these multi-billion-dollar tools. This is a multi-billion-dollar platform, okay, in itself. It's powered by multi-billion-dollar platforms. We're talking about integration of Manus, which is owned by Meta, ChatGPT, Claude, and Google Workspace and Gemini. 4 of the largest platforms powering this entire software. So it's about architecture. It's about, really the limitation is up here. Whatever you can imagine is now possible. I have built a lot of these softwares in the past. I built a very customized AI-powered infrastructure software over the course of 3 to 4 years for multiple Fortune 500 companies, entertainment companies, and it was all surrounded around licensing agreements. And this is exactly what we did. For me to build this out, I'll be honest, it was a $5 million experiment, right? A project that I had already worked on in 2016 through 19, using AI, powered by Watson mainly, and a couple of the tools, to build a proprietary software owned by these media giants to do this, to control contracts. The problem was that the corporate lawyers, the entertainment lawyers that were drafting these contracts, right? You can imagine like, Hulu or Disney or Netflix, they have a show that's licensed or owned by Sony or Paramount or MGM or, some other media giant, right? Entertainment studio. And they want to publish on there. Now, you know that this is going to be the way those contracts are going to look. This is not only what I have executed, but also helped dissect upwards of $25 billion of IP licensing contracts between these media giants. And this is exactly what we did. Strip it all down. This is all in physical hard paper. Firstly, make it a PDF, and then custom build a software where now the attorneys had a software they can push out, and they can make comments. So that's another section we're going to add here. We can make internal comments and even client-related comments, right? It's not going to show up in the printed version, but back and forth, almost like a Google Doc, right? And that's how we built it with them. They could make comments on it so that the sales team, the media team, the advertising team, the licensing team, the content protection, right? The liability. There's obviously like in other guardrails, geofiltering. You can see here, tech teams behind the scenes, right? Cybersecurity teams. They didn't have to come and talk to the lawyer every single time they had a question. The lawyer could go ahead, upload, digitize the contracts, and break it down into simple English, right? So that the rest of the company, hundreds of people, can access this document. And so that's what I did over the course of 3 years. And so for me to come up with this again, I'll be, honest, it is biased because I have that experience building technologies and helping thousands of people essentially launching technologies. That is what I've spent the vast, amount of my career doing in the last 2 decades, is helping people turn ideas and IP into technologies, right? You can go back and watch some of my videos from 2016, 17, 18 on YouTube. I cover these nuances with, again, AI, early stage AI. And ironically now, we're back here talking about AI as infrastructure. Between 2010 and 2020, AI was used by large corporations with access to hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to build these sophisticated tools, upload these contracts, right? This had to be done manually. We manually uploaded these contracts. This contract was uploaded, digitized now in a matter of 10 seconds, okay? So that is what we have here. So let me show you one more thing here, which is what I call the estate map. And this is the feature that I added in the last 2 days. Actually, let me go back. Let me click Margaret here. And so I wanted to get a visual description or visualization of what clients' portfolios look like. So we have Margaret here, right? Male. We have the relationships. We have an asset map. Okay. This is the entire assets. We have an estate map that gives you an entity map that gives you all their different entities. I can move it around. Okay. It gives me the ownership calculations. I can add various entities. New foundation. Let's say MJ Smith Foundation. And let's say it's a private foundation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that in here. Now you can see it's real time. I can sync matters as well, right? And so I can do tax planning here. If any of you offer tax planning, and I do, right? For me to give, excuse me, legal, tax, estate, business, financial structuring, insurance related, asset holding, transfer, all of these strategies have a tax implication. So over the years, unless I understood the tax implication, I might have not have done the tax work, but looped in the client's tax and financial advisors so that together we can see what the client's portfolio looks like. Okay, there's no software, one software for estate planners to loop in advisors of your clients, so all of you are on the same page. That's how gaps are avoided. That's how probate can be avoided. For those of you who practice probate, for you to offer a tool like this, okay, and talk about the horrors of probate, a real-time calculation. In this case, we're talking about taxable estate, federal exemption, federal tax, probate calculator in California, attorney fees. We're looking at $118,000, and you're trying to close people for 5 or 6K. Is that a disproportionate value? I think so, right? You should be charging more, offering a few more strategies, showcasing the real value. And we love foundations because as a tax planning tool, it is, in my experience, having worked with thousands of people and watching literally hundreds of people getting, trapped into bad tax strategies and all kinds of nuances that are out there being preached in the marketplace. I realized that the foundation was the safest approach. What do billionaires do? I started, scoping into that, literally hunting down and examining hundreds of financial records of billionaires. And the foundation is the one entity that they all share in common. Every billionaire is a philanthropist. Why? Well, look here. Federal exemption is actually a little bit higher. It's about, I think, 14.9 million or 15 million, right? So we're going to do some updates. Again, this is not live. It's just a demo version. But so if somebody is worth, let's say, $100 million, you have a client worth $100 million, and the exemption is 15 million, anything in excess of that is a part of the estate, okay, you're subject to 40% taxation off the excess. This is the excess. Total tax, attorney fees, New York, right? Different states. And to sell a foundation or something else, and I'm like, hey, we should be moving $20 million. Okay. Contribution amount, let's say 1 million. Annual income is 5 million. Top rate, now you can see allowed deduction is 30%. So real-time calculations. In 1 year, if we charge $25,000 to $40,000 to structure a foundation and walk them through 2-3 years worth of work so that they're doing things right, loop in all their advisory and make sure this execution is done correctly, what is the value to the client? You can see the immediate ROI that you can start to calculate, right? So this is, again, an ROI calculator, not only for you as a strategist internally to make decisions, whether you use or get involved in actual tax strategies or not is a different matter altogether. But the core concept here, what I'm talking about, is, again, the ability to analyze these things at a very high level. Tax strategy, probate avoidance, entity optimization, okay? It also has relationships. I wanted to be able to understand at a high level who's who. So it maps all these things out. Okay, so we have a child, we have these. She owns them. Okay, we can add a connection here. Primary residence. Connection added. Okay. I'm also gonna make a tool so I can drag and drop these. So that I can drag and drop these, and automatically now you can see here what it's trying to do, right? The financials, income, retirement, all of this you can edit. Priorities, what are they looking for? A mind map, okay? So we can do, again, real-time calculations with the clients. And okay, we have, let's say, Chase saving. We want to gift it outside the estate. 125K gift. Let's say Fidelity brokerage. We want to pass it through the estate. It's going to go through the revocable trust. We have unassigned residence through the trust. Thompson Consulting. Let's go ahead and make that unassigned. Let's just say we do a foundation for that. Okay. Now you can see here what this is, right? And how valuable this is. You can add a person, you can auto-populate, you can move things around. Okay. Okay, child 1 gets this, spouse gets this, child 2 gets this. Okay, and you're left with this. I'm doing this in real time, folks. Like, what is the value for you to be able to use something like this in your law firm? So that's it for me. That's all I have to share right now. You can access, again, these in different ways. New client matters. These are all real-time stuff you can upload. So I'd love to speak about how law firms can do this. I want to share this formula with you so that you have in your arsenal a full $1 million, multi-million-dollar software tool. Go look up, and I can give you the names of tools that inspired me. Okay, they're nothing like this. These are much more advanced. But tools that inspired me that I have spent, now that I calculate, like $500,000 with zero residual value. I cannot put that on my balance sheet as an asset. I can't sell my law firm based on a software I'm using, rented software somebody else. But now I can. I can create full law firms as a box, law firm in a box. That's one of my brands with inbuilt software, $1 million software, okay, that I know in the market is comparable market. You can go see how much they've raised. And so that's the unprecedented advantage that we have right now by using and deploying AI as infrastructure. So this is something, again, you're interested in, go ahead, reach out to me, hybridaibrain.com. You can see the mission, fill out the form, and that will start the process of cloning your IP. This is all unique IP that belongs to me. There's no way you can even compete with me or co-create or copycat or create something like this, because again, this is from practical thousands of cases that I've worked on. So that's the new era of competitive intelligence that you can build. We're talking about extracting all of your stories, your frameworks, your decision making, your unique style, how you evaluate, how you analyze, what you want to do, what you want to stop wanting to do, right? All the ideas that are sitting in here floating, there's no way you can monetize that in your law firm. It's such a limited scope. If you have all these wild ideas and you're only stuck with offering revocable trusts and estate plans for $5 to $10 or $20,000, not that there's anything wrong with it. I did that for a long time, but I felt trapped in my business, right? As a law firm owner, not only the risk associated, right? You can do a perfect job, but you know that behind the scenes and watching your shoulder are bar organizations, ABA, right? And then you have clients always looking to sue attorneys. I know a lot of lawyers. They're all getting in lawsuits and malpractice claims all the time, right? It's a horrible place to be in. I finally decided, with all of this available, how can I go back to practice of law? I just can't. So I'm willing to share whatever I'm going to build. Literally every day we're building. This is just one of many, many applications that we're building now. Okay. All of these projects that I'm showcasing are generally going to be funded with upwards of $300,000 to $400,000 a year in technology grants by the companies, these companies that I'm using, right? And plenty of others. If you visit Grants for AI, you'll see the whole list, database, a free database, open source that I've given out for free. This is all our research, right? So this is our site here. This is a full knowledge extraction technology, which compresses, this is in my IP practice, right? It compresses over 30 hours worth of work into a completely automated process. Okay, monetize your IP, you can see here. And again, I don't want to dive too deep into this, but it is somewhat related to the estate planning, because it does become an intake form where you can automate your entire intake client interview process as well. Okay, these are all the questions, your evolution. So the questions I'm asking here again are very specific to knowledge and IP extraction in a way that I can take all that content, create a format that is normalized, in a format that AI can read and understand and use as a framework. So we're trying to replace the default AI system with your unique IP and intelligence. Now, this might not work because, I'm using this right now, but this is a full camera interview. 10 prompts, 1 minute each. It's a brain dump. In this particular case, if you're interested, I want you to go and fill this out so you can see how we're going to use this. This is a system going to help you incorporate. So you have completely automated, not just funnels, entire technologies, right? Entire technologies that are going to be funded. There's over 1 trillion being committed to AI right now. The US has to catch up, and Canada as well. Otherwise, they're going to be left behind in this AI race with China, India, and some of the countries. So trillions are going to be spent. That's why these corporations are willing to give out hundreds of thousands of dollars per organization, right? They have specific mandates. But all of these experiments are running here, and the experiments I'd love to do with you if you decide to join a program, work with us, right? All of our models are profit sharing, profit-based and revenue-based programs. I am not interested in running a law firm. I'm not going to be a competitor. I'm interested in building tech firms, innovating, taking the ideas that are stuck in your head, the brilliance, and creating technologies out of it. I have the time, the money, the access, the credits, the team, and the know-how on how to do this. This is what I'm obsessed with. This is just 2 applications I'm showing you here. So skip video, you can see what this looks like. Completely automated. People go here, book a call. What happens next? They get this whole thing. And take a look at this. Each of these platforms have their own inbuilt CRM systems. Different dashboard. It was a different outlook. It was a different UX interface, but I changed it. I like the estate planning when I was like, all right, let's use that here. So we have the IP extraction form. Oops, let's just go back. So I can go into somebody's profile, look at it. Let me actually pick another one. This is what it looks like. You have the full interview here, and you have...
It does work. Look at that. In fact, I'm going to take a quick peek.
You have a live interview that the client submitted. These are the questions that you want to ask them. If you're in estate planning, I had my clients always leave a short video of their goals, just thinking out loud, right? What is a message you'd like to leave on, right? Just in case we don't capture everything and we want more evidence. These are the wishes that I had my clients capture, and we would upload those, right? Now we have a completely automated system. And what I've done here is integrated that with, bear with me 1 second, let me show you. Now we've integrated that with Google Drive. Hybrid AI Brain, what I just filled out. This is right now. That blueprint, the form that I filled out, is now converted into a format, the JSON format, so that we can load it into AI. It also takes it into a hybrid AI blueprint. This is what we're going in and recustomizing, retraining, completely realtering what the core logic, the core LLMs, what the RAG system is going to retrieve and spit out. This is the fundamental source of knowledge, source code, if you will, that your AI platforms are going to use, your logic, your thinking. And so what we're doing here is reformatting your AI with your unique law firm brain that's physically with you right now. I want to extract it with these forms, Recustomize your AI, digitize it. Okay. You can see the interview is also pushed here.
Oh, that does work. Look at that.
All automatically pushed to Drive. I can just go ahead and share this with a client. One step. Okay, and that's all it is. So that's really it. If you're interested in transforming all of your existing ideas, IP, your whatever different streams you're working on, and build a custom dashboard like this, customized to your firm, happy to architect, walk you through it, even build a prototype. This, I ain't gonna lie, it took me about a week. There's a lot of engineering that went into this. This is a very sophisticated application, as you see. It actually combines 6 applications that I was independently using at one point or the other, running a multi-million-dollar business and tax strategy firm, right? And it was a complex practice. Most of our clients were high net worth, ranging from $5 to $45 million. That was my sweet spot. And I needed these applications. I needed visual depictions like what I just showed you, without which everything else was on just, stacks and stacks of paper. So my motivation to build these sort of tools is based on my own practice, my own clients, and what they wanted, what I wanted, right? What we were looking for, to loop all the advisors in with one platform so that there's a centralized place. How many lawyers, your competitors, are offering something like that? Almost nobody, right? I know the entire system. This is what I did. I worked with a lot of the advisors at large banks, Charles Schwab, Bank of America, National Bank, U.S. Bank, Raymond James, Edward Jones, Fidelity, Vanguard, and help clients pick their advisors, pick their trustees, interview people, structure it so that the business lawyers, if they're one, the estate lawyers, the accountant, financial advisors, realtors, insurance agents, and consultants, anybody dealing with wealth on behalf of the client and the trustees, we're all on the same page, right? I was renting out $6,000 to $7,000 worth of software to be able to do that. But yes, I could charge $40,000 to $100,000 or more. And again, you see the value, right? For a client to be able to save, $14 million and paying us $100K, it's not even a fraction, right? But the value is massive. The ROI is massive. So this was my own practice. But anyway, sorry I digress. That's it for now. If you are interested, again, in walking through this, first step, visit hybridaibrain.com, fill that out. If you want to take a look at grantsforlawyers.com, please feel free to do so. Join my Facebook community, Legal Technology, and we're going to talk about these, have live sessions every couple of days, and do some real-time building. I can't wait to work with you and explore what's in your mind and, create technologies out of it. That's it for me. Sid Pittendier, hybridaibrain.com. Talk soon, my friends.